Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Katie from Katie Guglielmo Art, and today I'm going to be walking through how I painted this recent foggy autumn lake painting. And so first I'm taking a light green, and for this painting I'm using the Gouache set. And I'm just going in the beginning and sketching out my trees that are going to be mostly covered by the fog. Even though most of these trees will not be visible, it's important to add several layers of trees getting darker as you go on when you are trying to create atmospheric foggy paintings, because it creates more depth in the painting when you have those multiple layers of trees. So now I'm mixing my white with a little bit of blue and a tiny bit of red just to cool down the tone in the blue. And I'm going over this first layer with a light gray and a darker gray. So at this point in the painting, I allowed the background trees to dry, and now I'm using a wet on wet technique on top of the dry trees. So I'm taking a lighter gray that I've added a lot of water with, so it's still kind of translucent because gouache will do that. And then I've painted over the sky, and then I'm adding a darker gray and painting over the sky in different clumps, and then those colors that are both wet are interacting and mixing together. So once I've done that, I'm going to allow that to dry, and now I'm going in and I am just blocking in the colors for the lake and then the foreground in front of the lake. And so once the sky has dried, I'm now taking a darker green that I'm mixing with a little bit more red just to make it less bright than the trees behind it. If I were to go back, I think I would have made the very background trees, like the first thing I painted, a little more of a neutral tone as well, but I still like how it turned out. So now I'm trying to mix a darker bluish purpley gray tone for the shadows in the water, and I want to make sure that it's not just a neutral gray and that there's still a little bit of blue in there, but I am trying to keep to the theme of very muted colors to help give it the effect that I'm looking for. And so I'm going in and I'm using my liner brush, and I am just like painting horizontal lines. At this point, the water is dry, so this is a wet on dry technique. But once I'm done with the darkest tones, I am adding some white to that gray color, and then I'm going in and I'm adding the highlights for the water. And then I'm repeating this whole process multiple times to give the water depth and have it not look like a bunch of lines. So once you do it enough, layering over each other, layering over each other until you get your desired look. At this point in the painting, I wanted to go in and I wanted to add some darker tones to the foreground, so there's a higher level contrast when I go in and add the lighter grass pieces. So I went in with a darker brown, raw umber is a good one to use, and then I let that dry. And now I'm going in and I'm adding the final trees. So these are all the trees that are in front of the fog. So I'm taking a really dark green. I mixed the darkest green I had on this set. I'm not sure what the color is called, but I mixed that with my raw umber. You can use any, like sap green's a good one to use. Any sort of olivey green mixing with that brown or red will get a more muted, darker green instead of adding black. So it kind of adds more depth to the color because it's less flat looking. And I'm using the same technique here with a small brush. I'm making triangles down the page in order to create the tree shapes. And then on the side of the tree, I'm taking a dark green, but lighter than the trees that I have, and painting a hill in the background and marking out the horizon line so it doesn't look like the trees are coming straight out of the water. So now I'm taking the same brown tone that I used to block in the colors, and I'm taking my small brush and my liner brush, and I'm switching out, and I'm making curved lines outside of the top of the foreground to make the grass shapes. And so you want to have some grass going above the water and like coming out of the water so it connects both. But I would say the most important thing when painting grass is to make sure your lines are going in different directions. A lot of the times when I'm painting grass and I find that it just looks a little unrealistic, it's because I've made the shapes too uniform. So you want to make sure that you're going in all different directions. What I like to do is I like to pick a spot on the painting that I is saying, okay, here I want grass to come out of, and that's going to be one of those darker spots that I went back in with the raw umber and made a little bit darker, and I'm picking that one of that spots as my focal point, and then I'm having lines go in all different directions outside of that point. And when you pick multiple points on your painting to do this technique with, it'll help to make sure that your grass isn't too uniform. You want to be really extreme when doing this. It's going to feel weird and kind of like you're doing the wrong direction almost, but once you've paint enough layers, making your colors lighter and adding different hues to it, once you've done all that, the grass will really come together, and all of the crisscrossing shapes will help with the realism towards the end. And so I went in and I painted a log and a rock in the water just so it wasn't so separated for this painting. And then now I'm going back in and I'm adding some green to the grass and some other browns and yellows just to make the area super colorful and add more hues and different values to the foreground. So it's not just an ombre of one color. So now I'm just going back in to different parts of the water to add some more contrast and create some shadows, especially by the rock and the log. After I've blocked in most of my values and my shapes, I like to go in after and increase the contrast in some areas. So in this painting, the light is coming from the top left. So I wanted to leave the left side of the painting in the water more bright, but go back in and add some darker colors, kind of where those trees are built up a little bit more to reflect the sun coming through the fog, through those small trees on the left side of the painting, and then that sunlight getting blocked a little bit more by the right side of the painting where there's more heavier tree foliage. So for the final part of the painting, I'm just going back through and tweaking some things I don't like, making sure there's contrast and shadows in certain areas so it doesn't look too uniform overall. And that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you made it this far. This original painting will come framed and is still available if anyone is interested. I also have postcards and prints available on my site as well for a more affordable option of this painting. Sorry this video came out really late. I meant to release it a lot earlier, but I honestly hate recording voiceovers, so I avoided that for a couple weeks. I'm currently working on commissions, so I don't have a lot of longer form content coming out soon. So definitely let me know in the comments if there's any sort of tutorial or painting that you want to see next. And I hope everyone has a great day, and thanks for watching.